Welcome to the Level Up Podcast, presented by The Ultimate Gamer, a show that features conversations with trailblazers, thought leaders, risk takers, decision makers, celebrities, athletes, and investors who are defining the gaming and eSports space. On Level Up, we take a journey into this dynamic industry and start to decode and reveal who and what's making news. It's about connecting, and it's about sharing the stories and vision of the people who make gaming and eSports a global phenomenon. And now, please welcome your host, student of the game, and connector to the eSports community, Tommy Knapp.
What's up, everyone? I'm Tommy Knapp, and this is an all-new episode of the Level Up Podcast presented by The Ultimate Gamer. On today's show, I have a conversation with Laylah Bulman, Senior Program Officer at the Samueli Foundation and Chief Strategist at NASEF. She started her career teaching innovative STEM courses in high school before being recruited to LEGO Education to grow and expand their impact in school systems across the country. Our conversation began with a discussion on literature, marine mammals, and economic development. Then we moved into Laylah's main area of expertise, innovative education. We spent a little time talking about the world of LEGO and the Florida Scholastic Esports League, as well as the NHL's esports initiatives. Next, we discussed the Minecraft Masters International Program, which is being launched in countries around the globe. We covered all of this while Laylah weaved in her personal recommendations and the NASEF philosophy of brain breaks, setting intention, meeting kids where they are, celebrating gamers, and much more. When it comes to the education space, a very, very hot topic right now. Nobody knows it better. Please join me in welcoming Laylah Bulman.
So really, obviously you're always busy. The first time we saw each other was, we talked a couple times, but the first time we met was at Yacht. We spent a little time at Yacht, which was great. By the way, that restaurant's fantastic.
It was great. It was a great experience, actually, seeing the Yacht come in. With all those kids coming in to see the dolphin, I guess it's the Miami Dolphins event. We were surrounded by very large young gentlemen. That was fun. And it was interesting, actually, to have in those conversations how into esports they are and how aware of it they are, not only just the actual industry, but this connection to kids and even at a curricular level. So that was surprising to me. I didn't expect that. It was a great conversation. Great to meet you and in person finally. Also, having heard already so much about you from the folks that run STEM and applied learning in Broward County Public Schools. Right. And your work that you were doing in Fort Lauderdale with creating opportunities for kids in after school and out of school time. So it was great to meet in person.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And so tell us a little bit about like when because aren't you from down here?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't born here, but I think a few people were born here, but I moved here when I was like 7 months old or something. So raised in South Florida. I could talk about myself.
Yeah, so you grew up down here, but I saw that you went to the University of Virginia, which is one of my favorite schools in the country.
Wahoo.
Yeah. I love Charlottesville. It's just so fantastic. It's just such a great area.
Yeah, I went to UVA. Actually, I transferred to UVA. I went to college my first year in Columbia University in New York. I played soccer there, actually, but I got injured about halfway through. And a really ironic, I was a goalie, and the forward from the other team, which was West Point, which was a girl that used to be on my high school team, was a forward when we played together. I basically knocked my left kneecap off, and that was it for my college career. And even though they say the Ivy League doesn't have scholarships, athletic scholarships, they have different ways of working that out. And so that money kind of dried up, and I went to UVA, different division, different level of soccer. So that was not an opportunity for me, but I had a really wonderful academic experience. I joined the band, played instrument, and supported athletics in that way. So I got to go to all of the Final Fours for women's basketball, went to all the bowls like Sugar Bowl, etc., and had a great time.
Yeah.
Going to Hawaii.
Yeah. You went to Hawaii? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because one of the Final Fours for women's basketball was out in Hawaii, so we went out there.
Oh, that's really cool. So when you were there, at that time, were you thinking about anything in the gaming space? I think you were really looking at the educational space, yes?
No, no. I was into economics, so I got a degree in economic development. Actually, I got 2 degrees. One was in English and one was in economics. And then I won what was called the Woodrow Wilson Fellowship, and I went to study at the University of Texas at Austin. I did my graduate work there in economics and econometrics, and then worked for the Department of State and Foreign Service, and did that for a little while. Left. When I was there, I worked on science policy issues, specifically around marine mammals like dolphin. A lot of people hear about dolphin and tuna. I worked on that issue, and shrimp, turtle issues, etc.
Right.
And then I left that world and pivoted education. I actually, before that, I had a startup.com, doing the .com first, that first 2000 level. I had the first bilingual website for women in Spanish and English. And then I had a kid, it was my first child, and he was diagnosed with autism. And at that point, I decided to totally change my career. And I went into education so that I would be in the same school with him and be able to, really give him the best educational experience.
Right.
And I went into teaching and administration. He graduated from high school. He's now interested in my English and engineering. So, my plan worked out really well. But, of course, life takes a lot of detours. And in that, I was always a teacher and an administrator that was, about innovation, creating opportunities for kids. So in that particular school, I was able to create an innovation station at the time, the first online classes like in 2007. I think 6 actually. Really, really innovative stuff for kids at that time.
So are you prepared? Were you prepared? I mean, to some degree, I don't say you were prepared, but you already had done some of this type of work, like what we're going through right now, all this online education. You'd done some of that.
Yeah, for years. Yeah, absolutely for years. But, you could see the disruption happening in so many other industries. It just hadn't happened. The 2 areas that we hadn't really seen it the most were transportation, healthcare, and education. Mm-hmm. But that's where so many entrenched interests already. But this COVID has really, kind of made that what was it, a chronic issue about access and equity, technology, and digital learning has made it an acute issue. Schools were forced to do it, where they didn't have to do it before, they didn't think they had to. So I've been prepared for it. I worked on the first one-to-one, which means 1 laptop per kid program in the country that was successful, which was Miami-Dade County Public Schools, still continues to be the largest one-to-one program. And that's why, for example, in South Florida, kids that needed to get a laptop and needed to get access to internet were able to do so quickly because that infrastructure was already there, luckily.
Right. So you mean when we went into the pandemic, they were able to get the resources they needed that quickly?
Super fast. Yeah,
right.
I mean, they were able to do it within like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Okay, so when you're teaching at that point, and how did you then get involved with, and I'm not sure if I'm jumping ahead, but into the Legoland world or the gaming and the eSports world? Which came first?
Lego. So when I left teaching, I got hired by a company for that one-to-one program, and that was really an Intel Microsoft program. So I was hired to essentially build out K-12 STEM programs. And in that, I did that for about 4 or 5 years, creating maker spaces and innovation spaces for school districts, creating programs around STEM learning, mostly hands-on, immersive-based, programs. And Lego Education has seen and heard my work. I think also because I competed against them with other revised platforms and won. And so they decided to hire me. They offered me a position, I left, and I ended up running Lego Education's business in Florida, and also for what are called STEM learning ecosystems internationally.
Okay.
So there are 89 of those around the world, and the STEM learning ecosystems are funded by a family foundation called the Samueli Foundation. The Samueli Foundation, the 2 principals are Henry and Susan Samueli. Henry Samueli founded a company called Broadcom. It's like Intel's second largest chip manufacturer in the world. So if you want to cell phone and talk on it, you're probably talking about a Broadcom chip. And the Samueli family, decided to join what's called the Giving Pledge, and that is to give away the bulk of all of their wealth during their lifetime, which is an incredible act of generosity. And the Samueli Foundation funded the creation of the STEM learning ecosystems. And at first, the idea was we need to be able to have STEM trained students, future workers to fill the ranks of Broadcom and other types of .com companies. Kept going further for first started in college and making sure they had good, strong computer science engineering programs. And so the Samueli Foundation is the largest benefactor. So on top of the University of California system, where Broadcom was founded at UCLA, later on at UC Irvine. And then they, went from higher ed into the K-12 space. Let's find out where we can make sure that kids are exposed as early as possible to STEM learning so that they can then choose as advanced classes they need to study that in higher education and get the high-paying jobs. And, COVID's made pretty clear who can work and who can't, right? Like, if you can work from home, because you're working very likely in some STEM-related field. So again, like COVID's made very acute the needs that we have in a modern and future-forward economy. So Samueli has been investing in those kinds of programs. Mm-hmm. So I met the Samueli family, and specifically Gerald Solomon, who is the executive director of the foundation, in my STEM learning work, and I was offering what's called the STEM Learning STEM Lead Fellowship. So they select about 20 leaders in STEM education nationally to fund them and fund their research and fund their work. So I was funded to basically study whatever I wanted, which was awesome. And I decided to create and launch the first statewide Scholastic eSports League. So Florida, I created the Florida Scholastic eSports League, the very first full state league of its kind. I was awarded, I think it was top tech influencer or something like that from it. But mostly it's an affiliate of a program that Gerald Solomon and the Samueli Foundation have created called NASEF, which is the North America Scholastic Esports Federation. Mm-hmm. And what that does is it creates a platform for curriculum entirely free, no strings attached, entirely free, curriculum, professional development, and the actual platform for gaming, so free licenses, right, for kids to be able to meet kids where they're at. Because even with all of the work that the Samuelis were doing around STEM learning, I could tell you from the Lego side as well, and what I've done previously with Microsoft, there's a ton of money being thrown at kids and school systems to increase STEM learning, STEM education, but we're still missing a ton of kids. I mean, yes, the kids are in robotics, we see a lot more than we used to, but the most disengaged, the most disenfranchised, the poorest kids, frankly, were not getting as much access as to these kinds of quality programs as they could. And so we thought, well, let's look at esports. And, caveat is that Henry Samueli owns the Anaheim Ducks. And at one point in the past, the NHL had asked the owners to explore esports as a potential way to expand their brands, right, to early users. And I think what Gerald said was he checked it out and said, I can't tell you anything about esports, but I think I can tell you this might be a great way to reach kids. And hence NASEF was born. So when I did the STEM Fellowship launched Scholastic Esports for Florida, it was an affiliate of NASEF. And then I ended up, they offered me a position at Samueli to really expand what NASEF is doing, because what we did in Florida became the model really nationally for the world of how to really incorporate Scholastic esports into the classroom and into the out of school space.
Yeah, so explain a little bit about that. Explain what first of all, what you cover when you start an esports. So you started the Florida Esports League as part of NASEF. What exactly, when a school comes on board, how do they get onboarded? And then when they come on board, what do you offer them? Because I know there's a competitive side, but it's really based around education, right?
It is. So it's actually really easy. The very first step a school can do right? Or a teacher can do, or someone who's running an after-school program can do, whether it's a synagogue, a church, whatever. YMCA, they go to nasef.org, www.nasef.org. You'll see a button that says activate your club, and it'll take you through the steps of activating your club, which means you have to have a roster of kids. You have parent permissions for them to participate. And then that gains you access to over 100 toolkits that we provide, again, free, training for free, live, either shoulder to shoulder, webinar, right now, webinar. And where we train the teacher how to build an eSports club. So that means from as simple as if you know nothing about eSports, but you know your kids do, eSports 101, what is it? To the bylaws and how to charter and how to teach your kids and students how to charter a club. Elections, like your president, your vice president, etc. How to, extremely important, code of conduct. You know, we don't support bullying or toxicity in esports. We shouldn't. So at the very beginning, that's one of our first conversations. What does that look like? We look at wellness and well-being and health in esports. You know, just like professional athletes and varsity athletes work out and train and take care of their bodies and their minds. Same with scholastic esports. So we're looking at sleep, at ergonomics, looking at even mindfulness, looking at stress and anxiety, all the things that affect performance, right? And helping students with that as well. And we look at even there are a ton of kids that are in scholastic esports that don't necessarily want to actually compete in gaming. They just want to be in the area, in the milieu, the environment of it. So we teach about how to shoutcast. We teach about blogging. We teach about how to build an e-commerce site, how to design merch for your e-commerce site, all the different elements that you need to have a successful club. And as a good analogy is like when you would go to, say you go to Hard Rock Stadium. I was going to say Joe Robbie. You go to Hard Rock Stadium and you see the team on the field, but how many thousands of people are supporting that team and what kinds of jobs do they have? It's the same for esports. You'll have maybe 4 to 5 players in a team, but there are marketing people, and there are IT people, and there's cybersecurity people, and there are social media people, and there are theory crafters and coaches and strategists and entrepreneurs and content creators. There's so many different roles that are needed in that industry. And for an esports team to be successful, they need staff. Mm-hmm. So the toolkits and models that we provide are to help all of those kids that want to be esports, but they may not be playing, but they want to have a career in that, and that's what we support. And that's what our curriculum is really about. And you don't have to be an expert at all in esports if you're a teacher. In fact, you don't even know anything, because we even provide for free the coaching. What that means is that we have coaches clinics. They're virtually brought in. They're vetted to background check everybody. They're near peers, so they're like university students from the University of California at Irvine, which is the top esports university in the country. And these kids, almost professional players, provide coaching on how to get good at the game.
Right.
So really, all a GM has to do, or all a teacher really has to do, is facilitate the club.
That's amazing. And the resources that you guys provide, do you partner with a lot of additional, like outside organizations or people? Because from what you just said, you just said that you offer, a lot as far as resources go, from coaching to education.
Too, right? Yeah. So we offer, so the vast majority of it is funded by the Samueli family, the Samueli, the Samueli Foundation. We don't prize, for example. We don't give prizes to kids, but we do give scholarships, right? So a kid could win $2,500, and that money is held for them when they go to college, and they can use it any way they want. We're doing board, we use tuition, whatever. They can win. GMs can win prizes in terms of scholarships for their club. We also have what are called Beyond the Game challenges, so all kinds of challenges around those specific industries. So best chant or best song or best e-commerce site or whatever. And we scholarship those through mentorships and internships. So partners, especially local business partners, if they have, they want to be involved in scholastic esports and they have a great marketing arm, right? And they want to offer their head of marketing to give maybe 2 hours a tour of the facility for kids who just want to be on the game challenge for their marketing strategy. That's what we also offer because kids need to be able to create a portfolio of their work while they're in high school. It's all about skills and what you can show.
Right.
So we create the opportunities for kids to actually create a portfolio of work before they even graduate.
So is that portfolio is that in your website? Is it their own? Like, how does that portfolio work? That sounds really cool. And then I was going to just...
Yeah, so we have partnerships. Like you were asking me about partnerships. So we have partnerships with companies like, for example, eFuse, which is a content site, right, for Scholastic eSports.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the named partner for providing content around Scholastic eSports in K-12 on eFuse. We have partnerships with companies like Hitmarker, so jobs in eSports, whether it could be eSports teacher, coach, to physiologist. We have partners because kids want to know where the scholarships are and they want to know where the jobs are. So we provide all of that information. Right. And so we also have, in those partnerships, we have the ability for kids to build their online portfolio. So all of the stats and performance in their games, plus what they've made through our website. Yeah.
That's awesome. And on the competitive side, because you do have a league, how does your competitive side work?
It's the same. So we utilize the back end that UCI uses. So if it's good enough for UCI, it's good enough for us. Right. So we utilize their back end. UCI actually does handle all of our in-house we handle our own house tournaments for League of Legends, Overwatch, Smash, Fortnite, Hearthstone, Rocket League, and we've launched recently because of COVID and kids having to be at school, a partnership with Microsoft and Minecraft Education Editions, where we're providing students free licenses to Minecraft and challenges. We have one right now that was NHL Face-Off. So kids had to build their own ice skate arena. They had to build new jerseys. That was awesome. 17 NHL teams participate with us. We are right down in the middle of closing up what's called Minecraft COVID. And that is, kids building out of Minecraft, the ideal house. Or if you've got to live at home, what's the most awesome house to live at? It's so incredible. We even launched a similar program to the Department of State, the U.S. Embassy in Mexico, actually.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so we're going international. We've signed agreements around the world. Right. One with British eSports, for example. But I'll give you an example with the Minecraft in Mexico. We launched it last Friday, and within 3 to 4 days, we had over 1,400 kids sign up. It's just a hunger for it.
Yeah. And now is that, so again, it's kind of like with your clubs in Florida and then nationally, when you talk about Mexico, like that's a country, but are we looking city specific, or is there one kid in Mexico City and another kid in Guadalajara and another kid, or is it specific? Okay.
Oh, no, it's a whole country. So because we're working with the U.S. Department of State, the U.S. Embassy, they have what are called American Spaces. And they're essentially like library spaces where kids can learn English, where they can learn about American values, American culture, where they can learn about opportunities to study and to exchange with the United States, and for students who come to Mexico to study as well, move universities as well. So through the American Spaces, and through the public education system in Mexico, because they're right now under quarantine as well, right now in Mexico as well. So kids are home, and this is the opportunity they have to play. So we have them from all over, from Puebla. The biggest cities, the last I saw, were Mexico City, which is not a surprise. Puebla, which is a town outside of Mexico City, and Nuevo León, which is at the border.
Okay.
So,
it's amazing. And are you finding, because these kids, when they're local, when they're in their own county or their own city, they connect. And then we do know that they connect globally when they're playing. But have you found almost like pen pals back in the day? Are some of these kids connecting from South Florida to Mexico where they're becoming friends online?
Well, we're going to start seeing that. We're going to have a launch. We haven't had a fully international competition yet, because right now that was Mexico specific. But June 29th, we're going to launch what's called the Minecraft Masters. That will be our first international program. It's going to be based off of Lego Masters, where we're going to have these live streams of these kids in different worlds, and we'll give them these insane challenges to see who's the best. And that will be run with Mexico, UK, France, and US. And I believe Israel. And hopefully we'll see, competitors from all these different countries to be the true Minecraft master. And after that, in August, we're going to launch a challenge with Rube Goldberg. If you're familiar with the Rube Goldberg machines, like almost every 8th grader has to do one. It's like they're really simple, they're complex machines that do a simple action. They're going to do their very first digital Rube Goldberg competition in partnership with NASEF and Minecraft. We have a lot of stuff planned for kids that are at home this summer until we can launch again in the fall. And we also have right now on our stream, on our Twitch stream on NASEF, we have activities all the time. We play every Friday. Like last Friday was Fortnite. We call it Fortnite Friday. We do Jackbox TV together. That's international. So, kids from all over are just joining in to have community to play. They want to play.
So you just mentioned the summer a little bit, talking about summer programs and also talking about the kids right now. And I'll give you for instance, my kids do their schoolwork. We have them do some physical activity. We call it gym or PE from 12 to 12:30, 12 to 1, where they have to go outside, they have to ride their bike, they have to shoot hoops, they have to jump in the pool, something where they have to be active, right? I don't know if everybody else is doing that. I'm not sure what other parents are doing at home, but when you roll into the summer, typically after a school year, you go into the summer and parents are pretty open to doing whatever, I don't say whatever, but a lot of the things that they think their kids might think are a lot of fun. Some of that will be active, but some of that in the last 5 years has gone into eSports, gaming, coding, game development, game design. So there's that opportunity. How do you incorporate the physicality of a good, healthy, balanced life with gaming? So, for instance, you wake up at 9 o'clock. Now you start your game design, your coding, your game development, and you're doing that as a summer camp. And then in the evening, when you get home, or you're already at home now, right? Because now you're not going to any camp. You're just sitting at home, and you're still online and you're gaming. And so now whether it's screen time, gaming or coding or game design or whatever that screen time is, that's a lot of screen time and not a lot of physical activity time. How do you guys incorporate, or what do you share with kids about, hey, let's make sure that you're doing things that keep you physically active, which is obviously good for your body and your mind?
Yeah, so with the rise of e-summer camps and ID tech camps and all kinds of camps are, as you said, they're really popular. We incorporate into all of our activities brain breaks and physical breaks. Your body has to be active if you want to perform well, no matter what you're doing, whether it's this kind of work or, the kid playing. So we incorporate all of that into any activity that we do, including even having streams about just that with experts in, esports physiology. So kids have to go out. Kids have to go out. They have to have fun. They have to be for their wellness. It's proven that just going out into nature can be in your backyard for 15 minutes brings down your stress levels by 50%. So we heavily encourage that, and we're developing tools right now around those kinds of, kind of tidbits of knowledge. Food is fuel, and conversations even for parents to have with their kids or teachers to have with their kids that help kids really understand that, believe it or not, having a kind of a tidy room helps you tidy your mind. Believe it or not, it de-stresses you. And having kids really understand the different realms, of their life that they have so much control over that can make themselves feel well. And so we have this kind of toolkits too.
Yeah, it's so necessary today in this space that we're in. You grew up and you're playing soccer, like you said, and I grew up and I was playing football, and that's probably one of the main concerns I hear from parents. If the kids are in their gaming and they're online, they need to be out doing other things. So I'm always focused on that, and it's good to hear that you guys have a focus and a direction on that, and resources that are available for kids and parents to look at.
Well, the Samueli Foundation, one of our pillars is around integrative health. So what that means is a lot of our funding every year goes to support integrative health research. And for example, the majority of it was with the VA, helping veterans in health and wellness after their the duty that they've provided us in our country. Susan Samueli suffers from MS. And she credits the fact that she hasn't had any symptoms in 25 years to her adherence to integrative health modality. So that's an important part of us with eSports. We integrate all of our philanthropy together. They shouldn't live in silos. So it's absolutely important. And, nobody, 100% of anything is not good, right? So we definitely understand what parents say, which is like, get off. I say it too. I mean, right now I'm literally staring. If I turn my computer around, you see 2 huge gaming stations for my kids. And they're old enough now that I don't tell them when they have to get off. And hopefully through awareness and teaching kids early, kids can pick themselves up, right? That's really the ideal situation, that kids recognize that they need to take, like, you need to take care of yourself. And what are the ways that you take care of yourself? How do you calm yourself down? How do you stretch? How do you make yourself feel great? So that's what we're trying to do too. That's an important part. 80% of all illnesses can be prevented through wellness. So why shouldn't we teach kids about that?
Right. We need to teach. There needs to be learnings and educations, and then we need to implement those things, and then we can be happy, healthy, and strong. I'm looking at your right now some of the things that you guys have online, and just some of the news. One of the articles is designing games for eSports and education, which is what you guys are doing constantly, right? You're doing that all the time. And then announcing the 2020 Minecraft Face-Off winners. So when you see these programs that you guys have, are they run annually, or do they run at specific times of the year? How do they come out as far as events go? Are they based around the school year? Right now you have some summer programs.
So we align our major national tournaments with the school year. So we have a fall and winter tournament, like a fall and winter sport, right? So we have Overwatch and very likely Rocket League coming up this year with Minecraft for the fall. And for the spring, we'll have League of Legends, probably Smash, and again, Minecraft in the what we call winter, which is like spring from South Florida. And then we have the Beyond the Game calendar that are running all the time throughout the year. So we have 2 seasons distinctly, right, in the first, second semester of school. And the big games are League of Legends and Overwatch.
And where do you see everything, comparatively speaking, from 2015, let's say, to today and 5 years down the road? In schools, like in education, in competition, because there were very, very few schools, high schools and middle schools, right, that had any type of esports or gaming program 5, 6, 7 years ago. Now they're starting to come online. You're so involved with enrolling schools and bringing on these programs, and they seem a lot of them to be open to it right now because it's becoming such a buzzword. So where are we today? And then in 5 years, do you think basically every single school will have a program, or almost?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's industry driven, right? If high schools will offer scholastic esports, if it's a place for kids to study and participate in college, right? That's what the mission of a school is, to then graduate a child and have them either be successful in a job, in a career, or in higher education. So as long as there are jobs or additional career or study opportunities in esports, you're going to see that growing. And I don't see the esports industry disappearing. In fact, I learned today that the gaming industry is 4 times the size of Hollywood. In other words, the entertainment industry coming out of California, which is massive and runs half of that state. So it has the GDP of a country, a small country. And gaming internationally is 4 times that. So I only imagine in 5 years from now, right now it's nascent, it's beginning, right? But I reckon in 5 years from now, it'll be the way that we see soccer and football today. It'll be that fast.
Yeah, I agree. And do you think, because I think this is one of the amazing things to me about the space itself, is that about the engagement of kids that might not otherwise be engaged in education, in wanting to learn in schooling. And this seems to be such a great way to reach a lot of those kids.
They finally have a place, it's not like they weren't there, but they weren't being celebrated. They had their sweatshirts on, they had their heads inside a laptop or some kind of console. And now they're just as, I've seen it, so for example, at a school in Miami called Southwest Senior High School, a 9th grade kid in our NHL, competition and tournament, our face-off was, he got another one. He went to the Final Four. We flew him out to DreamHack in LA. The kid won a ton of money for his school and for himself, and he got the hero's welcome when he came home. This is a kid that was not going to be the captain of the water polo team or whatever. And he said, I think so. But he's really good at esports. And so you're having different kinds of it's more diverse opportunities for kids to be emotionally successful as well. I have a place. I'm happy to go to school. I I've got friends, and I'm not stuck in some corner. So it's bringing everybody out, bringing everybody to be recognized and embraced, and a place to study and grow.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not like I'm, they're not wasting their time on the screen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So just like myself, you seem very, very passionate, excited about the space. Every day you're waking up and doing something that could be game changing and world changing, even if it's just for one person. What are you guys doing right now? You said obviously you've got the summer coming up. What are you doing that's super, super exciting that you can tell us about? And there's some things maybe that you can't tell us about.
Well, I mean, we're really excited about. Well, here's one thing that's coming out. We are making a partnership with Microsoft stores.
Okay.
So putting in an NASEF club in every single one of the stores around the world, actually starting in the United States first. That's exciting because you may not be able to have a club at your school, but you can find one at a Microsoft store. That's great. So, that will be really expanding opportunities for kids to be able to find a safe space to play with peers who are doing the same thing with our curriculum. So all of the great stuff that we developed that's approved by the state of California, that's in line with what are called the standards around social emotional learning, and train adults, right? So that's one really, really exciting opportunity and partnership that we're having.
And that will be just like your other programs, that will be free as well? Okay, so any kid, that's fantastic. So how many Microsoft stores? I mean, there's hundreds, thousands, hundreds. Okay.
Yeah. So that's great. Look up the stores, you look up the map, and you will be there.
Okay. Yeah, so that's an amazing partnership.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Did you start that one? Did you lead that one?
I would say yeah.
That's
if
awesome.
my boss were here, I'd say he started it, but it was. I mean, look, it's a team effort, but and it took about a year of working with Microsoft and having Microsoft see the work that we did. So one of the things that we're excited, it took a year of working with Microsoft to get to this point. They had to see our work, they had to see our infrastructure, but at the same time, what they were seeing was at the stores, kids from the different NASEF clubs from around the country were walking into the store and telling them about their home club. So the stores were already working with individual school districts. What this really does is it elevates it from the Seattle level to be able to provide more resources to kids in schools.
Yeah, it's more organized.
Yeah.
So one of the things I always ask towards the end of a conversation, and I could go through your website and we could keep talking, but I know that you're limited on your time. Just give me a couple ideas of things that you do. I like to ask people what they do for their daily, just like their daily routine. So the way your day has mapped itself out today, because that a lot of times will help people that are listening and saying, okay, this is what Laylah does. She's got a great career right now. What is she, just tell us about your routine, your habits.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to, like many people, I wake up and the very first thing I do is I look at my schedule. Actually, I look at my schedule the night before. So I'm prepared for what my day is. I will prepare also the night before what I'm going to have for breakfast. I don't have to think about that. And I cook breakfast for all my kids.
Okay.
And then I take a walk. I take my dog for a walk.
Did you say what time? I'm sorry. Did you say what time you wake up?
7.
7. Okay.
7. I mean, normally if it's not COVID, so I used to travel a lot with my work. It used to be earlier, but now they changed the school time to start at 10. So I'm really up a little bit later.
Okay.
So this is my COVID routine.
Yeah.
And then I bike the dog or walk the dog for at least like 45 minutes to get up a little sweat.
Okay.
And then I get on a good shower, get myself kind of ready, and get on my Zoom calls. And I'm pretty much on Zoom calls for the day. I try to put in an hour in the middle of my day for lunch because I also have to eat lunch and sleep lunch and kind of take a mental break. Right. I do take a break every hour for about 5 minutes to stretch. Typically, I'm done around 5 o'clock, 5 or 5:30. I will definitely then take another bike ride or walk. That's the one I really look forward to. Right. Where I utilize the app. It's called OBE, and I do some meditation, guided thinking and guided breathing exercises, which have really changed my life. because it makes me. I should tell you that every night before I go to bed, I set an intention for my next day, and that helps me focus. What's one thing I want to accomplish? And then at the end of the day, I just I don't really read because of I read those books like I told you. I've been reading and watching different things on Netflix, which is I've never watched TV in my entire life. So now I watched the all 10 episodes of The Last Dance. That was awesome. And I bought the Phil Jackson book. So I want to read that. I think there's a lot to learn from that and from this coaching style that we can look into eSports and some of the wellness. So I'm waiting for that to arrive from Amazon. I'm looking forward to that. And
I love what you just said. Because you were learning things from The Last Dance from very successful people, and you're going to look at that and then use those learnings and apply them to stuff that you're doing in your own life, which is exactly what I'm asking you to share with other people right now. So and some of those things, right? Some of those things connect with people. I hear a lot from people that are very successful that they do take the time to, they either meditate or they have mindfulness practices, whatever you want to call it. And some of them say there's no way that they could, because a lot of people say they're too busy to do those things, right? And the most successful people say the only way they can get all the things done that they do in their lives is to have that intention, be mindful, and do that meditative practice. So you just said, I think you said it changed your life when you started doing it.
Totally changed my life. So I first started with a guy actually in South Florida. His name was Gus Castellanos. He used to be the head of neurosurgery at the University of Miami. And he, for oncology, right? And he left his practice to focus on what's called mindfulness-based MBSR, stress reduction. Mindfulness-based stress reduction. It comes out of research back out of Mass General. And I was introduced to him because he provides wellness and meditation to teachers and anybody who's interested. And that's where I first started learning. I'm so sorry. If you still hear me with that noise?
A little bit I could hear. I just heard it just then, yeah. But that's okay. We're almost done. I'll edit that out.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's so right. Gus Castellanos is a great resource. He's and he taught me about what are called body scanning. And it can take up to an hour, but I just did 10 minutes of just doing that. And at first it felt really weird. And then, but I kept doing it, and it just calmed me down. And then I learned through Samueli about breathing and the intention setting. And the intention setting, for anybody who's listening, intention setting either in the morning or the night before, it helps you focus on at least one thing that you want for the day. And you feel accomplished. Because you have a lot of distractions. But you train your mind, I want to accomplish that one thing. I will tell you one other thing that I do. I take at least one picture on my phone a day. Doesn't matter what it is. And I write a sentence about it. I keep that as my daily diary.
Okay.
So and I know that a lot of people utilize their phone cloud as a diary of sorts, but I actually write a sentence about it. And I don't put too much pressure on myself about what it is or what I write. So I could write forever. I don't have time. But so I use one moment and one sentence a day to give to myself what is it that I was doing, and it tells the story of my life. So those are two things that I think have been really helpful.
That's cool. Do you ever go back and look at that? I mean, I'm assuming you do. You record it? Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. All the time. And it's awesome.
That's awesome. Laylah, Yeah. Thank you so much. Because I know you're crazy busy, and so I appreciate you. Yeah, blocking out a little time for us. I apologize for the issues we had at the beginning of the call. But
thank you so much for inviting me. And if you ever want to speak to any of the other people on our team or on the UCI team, let me know. We'll set it up.
Oh, for sure. And I'm actually going to listen to. I saw that you guys have podcasts on your website as well. So. I'm going to follow those because I'm sure there's some fantastic information in there. So thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
I'd like to thank Laylah for sharing her experience, time, and knowledge with us today. She's breaking ground and leading innovation in arguably the most important segment of the industry, education. Changing the world by leading our youth. Her message is so important. You can listen again now, and you can also find timestamped segments of the show, links to Laylah's social pages, and more information about her company, projects, and media in the show notes. If you enjoyed our discussion, please let us know. Continue the conversation with me across all social platforms and become a part of the Ultimate Gamer community today by subscribing at ultimategamer.com. We release a new show every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So be the first to join us for some outstanding upcoming guests and or dive into the library of previous Level Up pods to hear from some of the most brilliant minds in the space. Experts like CEO of World Gaming and Collegiate Star League, Wim Stocks, CEO of Origin PC, Kevin Wazalewski, and eSports journalist, personality, and host Hip Hop Gamer, just to name a few. You can find all these episodes and more on the Ultimate Gamer website, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your pods. And finally, please like, rate, and review the show. It helps us reach the gaming community to spread the word and share the wisdom of our guests, as well as some of the most thought-provoking stories in the industry. Shout out, as always, to the Ultimate Gamer. I look forward to being with you on the next Level Up podcast.